you consider like Catholic is under Christianity, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
In
that's
America,
how
but
it
in
is.
America, it's considered separate. So I always
Oh,
have to
really?
make.
I didn't realize that. Yeah.
You never notice it that on forms is Catholic is marked separate from Christianity.
Oh,
That was one of my first culture shocks
attention.
here in America. I was in the military and I noticed. I was like, why are you marking Catholic separate from Christian?
I never paid attention.
Yeah, it's.
I'm going to look.
I was like,
Oh, wow.
what's the meaning of this? This confusing to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's confusing.
Hey everybody, Raphael Harry here. You're listening to White Label American. On this show, we dive into unique and diverse origin stories from immigrants and allies. Join us weekly as we break barriers, connect the past with the present, and peek into the future. Welcome to another episode of White Label American. Thank you all for joining us. Man, right after we had Bad Bunny, Benito, as we call him in this house. He's a good friend of mine, though we've never met, but we're good friends. So, staying with our Puerto Rican family, but we're going to dive away from Puerto Rico to, Southern Africa. But we are one people. We all love to eat plantains and coquitos and other things that we don't know the name of, but it's the same thing we eat. But I'm honored and happy to have a good friend who's one of the nicest people that I've had the pleasure of meeting in life. She's a good friend of the podcast. She's a great podcast listener. I don't think I've met anybody who listens to podcasts more than this person that we have on the show today. She's let me not mess up her intros. She's a mom, she's a nurse, she's a storyteller, sports enthusiast. Yes, also that. And she's also a HBCU alum. She is the host of the Assorted Immigrant Stories. I was about to say there's more to the title, but I'll allow her to do the intro because my throat started messing up now and I might butcher that title. But there's a lot more to this wonderful woman, and I will allow her to take over the intro. So welcome to the show, Zenith Malawo. How you doing today, my sister?
I'm doing all right. And let me tell you, we really enjoyed that Bugs Bunny performance. I mean, last night, my son was like, Mommy, can we play it again? We watched it like maybe 3 or 4 times. I was like, You've got to go to bed. It's past bedtime.
Well, what I did for my kid was, after because the game was boring. The game was boring. I don't remember anything that happened in the game because I don't know. There was no Mahomes. There's no Jalen Hurts. I don't know. It's just a boring game. I forgot about the whole Super Bowl itself. The most entertaining thing was Bad Bunny showing up, and I was like, oh, finally, something entertaining happened today. Even the commercials were boring. So
You think so?
Oh, the commercials were boring. I can't remember. I think because a lot of it was just AI.
Well, that is true.
I was like,
that is true.
This is, I don't know. This year was boring. The movies I was waiting for, they are not releasing trailers yet. So, I don't know. It was
a hard watch.
It was rough. It was rough.
So, but before
you're a bigger NFL fan than I am. So, but for me, NFL, Super Bowl is Mahomes. No matter how bad you or good you play, Mahomes shows up and wins. That's my rule for Super Bowl. I'm a Mahomes guy, so that's how it works with me. But
no.
Yeah, I know you don't like to hear Mahomes because he's
no, absolutely not. But before I get into all this football thing, thank you for having me. This is such an honor. I mean, we've tried to make this work for a very long time, so I am so happy to be here. Now, getting back to football, I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. I was going there. Let me tell you what it used to be like before, back in the day, before we had Lamar Jackson. We had, oh my God, I've even forgotten his name. But it was anybody but
Oh, I
oh
remember
my God.
that white dude was the quarterback.
Oh
I'm
my
seeing his
God.
face. I'm blanking on his name.
I can't remember. I can't believe I'm
Hey,
blanking
that
on his name
Flacco.
as well. Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
So, Joe Flacco days, when it was Super Bowl time, for us, it was anybody but the Patriots. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that Tom Brady winning. So anybody who went up against Tom Brady, we were rooting for. So it's the same. We feel the same way about Patrick Mahomes. So anybody but Patrick Mahomes. So anybody Patrick Mahomes is playing for in the finals. So last year we were celebrating because last year we thought we'd make it there. We did not. Patrick Mahomes was there, and oh my God, they got clubbed. But we were like, oh yeah.
I know that feeling. However, I just gotta give a secret that will stay with only listeners of this podcast. And anybody who approaches me outside of the podcast, I'll deny this. All right. So all that time, people were against the Patriots. Except for my first Super Bowl in America. That was the only time that I was anti Patriots because I was like, okay, Giants. Although Giants always have terrible quarterbacks.
Oh, that was with Manning, right?
Yeah,
One of
but
the
hey,
Manning
no man,
brothers
that,
died.
that boy shouldn't have won quarterback. As soon as I got to know quarterbacks, I was like, man, he's trash. He's trash. But don't tell my New Yorkers here. However, when I got to know who Tom Brady was as a quarterback, I was like, man, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. I supported him. But the only reason why I started supporting Tom Brady was because of his wife, more of his wife.
No kidding.
But
So I'll
yeah.
tell you, for me, I watched an Oprah special and he was a guest and he was towards the end of his career. And I think listening to his whole story, he wasn't like a first round pick or like a topic. He wasn't. He was like maybe 1-0 for some large number like that.
Oh,
And he
really?
was, yes, that's Tom Brady's story. And for me, it was how hard he had to push himself to be like a great quarterback. He wasn't a natural athlete. He wasn't.
Oh,
So it's when I listened to that story, I was like, wow, I love the story. And, things like that really grip me. And from then on, it's kind of like a Roger Federer. I was like, okay, you know what? I might love somebody else, but I will root for you. So in his final year, well, you remember he retired and then came back, or maybe he hadn't retired yet. He went to the Buccaneers
yeah. He never
yeah,
truly retired, and then he went to Buccaneers. But that's when
right,
I admitted that yeah, he confirmed great
correct.
because
Me too. Then I was like, no problem. I'm gonna root for you. And
well,
it was around the time Serena was also like retiring. So okay, I'm
mhm,
rooting anybody in this age group. Okay, because you guys are great, and at this age, you're still performing this way. Yes, I'm
yeah.
rooting for you all the way.
However, final thing I'll say about NFL is my rule is simple. I see a black quarterback, yeah, you got my attention. So Mahomes,
No.
is he from a problematic family? Yes. I mean, it's NFL, but NFL they're all problematic to be honest. So
Mhm.
I'm not looking for my best friend in the NFL. I understand NFL, I know them. However, Mahomes, he got it. He got it, and that boy, yeah, I put my money on Mahomes. So as soon as he got injured, I knew this season was over for me. I was like, oh man, it's over. It's over.
This, yeah.
Yeah, somebody, you got it. It's your chance. Jalen Hurts, I trust that guy, but I don't know what's happening to Eagles. Eagles fans always been nice to me. There was a girl who one of my first crushes in America was an Eagles fan. They almost tied me down then. I was ready to become an Eagles fan for 2 minutes. It never worked out. So I was like, okay, no team can tie me. But the only team that can't get me is the Cowboys. Because
Okay.
as soon as I don't know how, but I just got into that bandwagon of anytime they lose, I just love seeing them lose.
Oh
And once
my
I
God,
found
you're
out about that,
celebrating, huh?
ah man, as soon as I found out about that, oh, my first Master Chief, I showed up to work. Master Chief, what was this? You guys play last night? What happened? What was the score? I forgot to watch the game. Hey man, don't you have work to
Starting
do?
fights.
Hey, somebody get this guy a broom to go sweep. I'd be like, oh, Master Chief, come on, man. I'm a supervisor now. You need to go sweep something. Get him something to sweep. And I was like, man, you Cowboy fans, you're not nice to people. How about first trolling in America?
Right. Yeah. No.
Yep, Cowboy fans. But yeah, it's a good love relationship there.
For us, it's the Steelers, Baltimore and the Steelers. We have a love-hate relationship.
Oh yeah. So technically, I'm the Commanders was supposed to be my first team. Being
Yeah,
DMV.
because you lived here.
But yeah, but I support Commanders, Giants, Eagles. Whoever pay me just pay me. I'm available. That's it.
I agree. I'm with you.
Yeah, pay me. That's
I'm
it.
with you.
So with that being said, can you introduce the audience to your podcast and why you picked the names that you went with for your podcast? So yeah, let them know what your podcast is about.
Okay, so my podcast is Assorted Immigrant Stories Podcast. And that's not the name I wanted, actually. I wanted something else. But every time I picked a name, it was taken. I had like maybe 5 names: Landing America. I mean, every last one of them was taken. And then one day I just thought, I'm like, what am I going to name this podcast? And in South, growing up, we used to have these cookies called Baker's Cookies. And one of the, so it was like Lemon Light, or it would be Marie. And one of the, what do I call it? One of the packets was called Assorted cookies. It was assorted, but a Baker's Assorted Cookies.
Like Danish cookies?
Yes, they're called Danish. Did you say Danish?
Yeah.
We have one that is similar, and I think it's called Tennis. No. It's Tennis and Eat Some More. Eat Some More is closer to the Danish cookies, but they're very similar. But they're South African, and the brand or the company name is Baker's.
Oh.
And they make different flavors. So there's like lemon cream, there's Marie, there's Tennis, which is like coconut, there's Eat Some More, which is kind of like shortbread. They have ginger. Okay, so then they have like ginger, they have different flavors. And then in the assorted packet, it's got all of them. So it might have like 2 of this, 2 strawberry, 2 Tennis, 2 everything. And I thought to myself, well, the idea is to share different immigrant lived experiences so that we can teach lessons to people who are still coming behind us. And I know we've heard the big stories of the $0 to become a billionaire, and that's not the focus. I'm just talking about everyday things like where to register for something, what you can get from a local library, when to register for something, those small details that somehow can impact your life, because my own life was impacted by not knowing small details like that. And because people were constantly asking questions of what to do, what should they do next, I thought, you know what? Let me start sharing this in some form so that this information can just be out there, or as a resource. Someone can listen to it and just be like, oh, okay, listen to this. So maybe let me try this, or maybe let me go and apply for this here, and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is, we always underestimate the little details, because that's what ends up killing us the most. We always have eyes on the big picture. It's always the bigger stories. It always takes me back to the unofficial biography of Tom Cruise. That was like the first time that I realized that people in the movie industry, it's like the 1% that we always have our eyes on. The actors that made it or are making it, and the rest of them are people with 9-to-5 jobs who are in the industry, who are in it because they love the trade. And I have like one of my neighbors. He's an actor, but if I tell you his name, you wouldn't know him. But he's been in very tiny roles, but he's a working guy, always taking his appearing like in a whole show, but he would just appear in one scene. And it was when I read that book, but I read it from a point of, because this was like what, almost 15 years ago. And I read the
Oh
book, but it
wow.
was to laugh at Tom Cruise. I think that was the point of, because it was the anti-Scientology thing, which,
Oh, at
yeah,
the
yeah,
time.
but
Okay.
it was kind of like exposing him on that, because it wasn't an unofficial biography. It wasn't with him writing about it or giving his input, the guy who wrote about it. So, but I don't even remember all the Scientology stuff. What I remember is the beginning of him working as uh, um, a waiter before he had his big break. And that was when I was like, oh, Tom Cruise washed dishes. Because since I knew him, I always knew him as a big star. And
Right.
then you start realizing that, wait, there's a small detail, but that always stayed with me. And then later on, I'll find out that Idris Elba was also a small, also struggled, and all these people. And with time, you start noticing that there's a whole lot of little steps that we skip over and we just go straight to the big, you made it, the big
Right.
guy. And then like, oh. So that's why it's always important to see people doing the work that you're doing, the work I'm doing, and where yeah, like there's a guy who I said no to over 3 years ago, wanted to come on the podcast, and he pitched to me his story. And he was, an immigrant who came from one of the Caribbean countries, and I came to America with $1, that kind of thing. Now I'm on like 5 companies. I'm a multi-millionaire. I said that's good. But this is what I do, It's who are you? What are you? Your origin? I want to talk to. I want to know the person, not about selling your companies. It's great. I'm happy for your success. By the way, I'm not against your success. And he never wrote back to me after that. So it was clear that we're not a vibe for each other. And
Right.
there are many people who, they don't want to hear that. But there are people who at the same time resonate with, they appreciate hearing those little details. When I was talking
Yeah.
to somebody who's like a cousin to me, and I was telling him about libraries, how libraries work in New York City, how we have different systems for each borough, but they literally do the same thing, but they operate on independent systems, and how I never took libraries I took them for granted until I moved to New York City, and then I saw the power of libraries, how huge they were, and how if we had something like this, it's not something that's under the federal government. It's under the city's municipal thing. And he was listening. It was like I was speaking something foreign. He was like, no, 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 no. We can't have this in Nigeria because we won't maintain it. I said, who's the we? And I was telling him how, when it comes, like, you can go vote there. And I was explaining, and he was like, no, this don't make sense. And I was like, this helps people like an entrepreneur. There's so many resources. Like you start your own company. You don't have to go rent an office space. Like, and he was like, what? What do you mean I don't have to go have an office space? I'm like,
Okay.
you can have all that money from day one. You can't. That's why you have to go steal. That's why you have to go be begging somebody. You have to go be at the mercy of some big man. But these are all resources that are available to you. So if you don't have everything, your library is there. You can go. Being there, you can't speak the language. Your library has resources for you. And he's like, what? You mean all this? I said,
You
yeah.
see?
It's your library. This is part of the. And he was like, "Oh no, 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 we can't have this in Nigeria because no, it's just too much." And I was like, "Ah, man, this is we got to keep having
Yeah.
conversations." So,
Yeah, we have to. We have to. I actually did an episode on how not to sleep on libraries because, to your point, there's so many things in there. It's not just books.
Mhm.
For instance, I learned last year that I could have been taking my son from when he was a baby at the library because they have programs for babies, they have programs for toddlers, they have book clubs, they have days with music, they have all kinds of things. And then it's free internet. If you want to be a content creator, perhaps you're an international student, you can walk over to the public library. You don't have to pay, use the computer, do whatever you need to do, your homework. There's so many other things. And I was listening to a podcast. Actually, it was this morning, and the lady was saying when she was in the UK, there were people encouraging African parents that, look, you pay a lot of taxes, and the taxes you pay to when you're working hard are going to these free facilities such as libraries. Take your children there. Take yourself there. Use these facilities, because they were finding that you're moving somewhere for a better life, but better life is just equating to money. But it's not just money. It's all these other experiences, walking into museums, libraries, and utilizing these spaces. So,
oh yeah, that was actually going to be an example I was going to bring up about, the first concert I ever took my kids to was at the library. We have something because of this snowstorm. They postponed it, but every first Saturday of the month, the Brooklyn Museum. It's a party. I think it's kind of like a party, but it's just open to the public. But you just have to register to get tickets, and there's DJs. It's open to families. But it's like 3 floors, and each floor has a separate DJ playing. But it's a nice thing, But I was like, man, when I was single, and I was like, where I go find women? I go to a nightclub. I don't like nightclubs. There's women there, there's men there, everything. But these are things that, you just be, oh, where do I go? I can't go anywhere. Whether you're looking for love, you're looking for resource, everything you're looking for, the city has provided it. And I'm there like, man, there were so many resources that I was denying myself because of the word free. You like, I have to go and spend money before you find, like, there's so many, but it's just around me. It was around me, and I was denying myself under the, just because I was like, oh, if I don't spend money, I cannot enjoy it. Why? Who told me that? Because I came from Africa. So I stereotyped myself into denying myself the right to. I was like, oh man. So yeah. So I have to. I let others know. People who I know don't listen to my podcast, and some of my friends, when they're complaining, I'm like, what you're looking for is right here. It's whether it's jobs, whether it's whatever resources, it's right here. And then they'll be like, what? You mean the city doesn't help? I'm like, the city actually, your government helps you. You're lucky you're in this type of place. Even in some places that they have that are so-called backward in America, they still provide the resources there because there are people who work there making sure these are provided to you. But if you don't utilize it, then the funding starts being cut off. So I let them know, and they're like, oh. I was like, yeah. So that's why it's important, and I'm happy that you're doing the work that you're doing, because I suffered from not knowing, and I can admit it now, and that's why I'm doing my best to make sure my kid doesn't grow up in that. She can't know everything, and it's not right. She's not meant to know everything, but she will have her own experiences in life.
Correct.
But, I go with her to the library, and I'm seeing other kids there, and they are not limited to, there's this illusion that only poor people go to the library. Only people from a certain demographic. I've heard the way some people talk, but I'm the neighborhood I live in, it's back in the days, yes, it was considered quote unquote poor. But gentrification, the houses, I can't afford to buy the houses, but luckily we got ours a few years ago at the right time. So you go to the library now, I know the children I'm seeing there, you hear the language and you're like, oh, okay. And you're seeing the resources there, and I'm like, wow. I'm the one denying myself. I choose not to utilize this. But I'm happy to see kids in there. I've seen babies. So I'm seeing the parents bringing their babies. And so I'm happy my kid goes there, and, and she's luckily she likes to read. But if she's not reading, there's games, there's other stuff, there's other resources available. And then if I take her to the much bigger library, there's even vinyl. She can go play music, and there's instruments. And if you want to do content creating, there's also stuff. But if you need meeting rooms, and I'm like, they thought about that and put that in a library. So That's why I'm so impressed. And there are other resources, not just limited, but I'm just using library as
Right,
the
right.
starting
It's just
point,
an
just for
example,
this,
but
yeah, an
yes, so
example for
many
this
other things.
conversation. So, when I see small business, like my school, it's not a public school, the university I attended, but I was at the small business. That's like New York City has a small business office. And when I went to the meeting, because I haven't decided yet, but I'm just like, let me go see what's out there. And they had a small business support meeting in December for small business entrepreneurs. And I saw lots of the city has like 5 different offices. The universities provided their support systems. And you don't have to be a graduate from the university to go and ask for help from them. They have legal teams available. My university was one of them. I was like, oh, I'm a graduate. They're like, yeah, well, so why don't you come here if you need help? We'll help you draft paperwork and all that. I said, oh, I'm busy at home being like, man, what paperwork do I draft? How do I fill the taxes? Why do you have to carry all the load on yourself? You paid money to go to the school. They'll help you. So
Right.
there's so many things that we don't. It's not the 90s, not the 80s anymore. You don't have to carry the burden by yourself. So it's beautiful. If we can't be an island unto ourselves anymore. Yes, we have wild people in the government at the federal level, even some state levels, municipal levels, but there are people like us putting information out there that, we see what we've discovered. We made mistakes, and we want you to learn from our mistakes. That
Right.
we are not those of us who say we are perfect. We are not selling perfection. No.
No,
Yeah. So
just selling where to go and, might help
yeah.
someone.
But I'm really proud of you because I remember when you started, and you've been doing amazing work, and you continue to grow. And if you haven't listened to Zenith's podcast, please go out there and listen to it, and give her 5 stars and support her because she's doing amazing work. But we're not going to we'll spend a lot of time on football and podcast. We haven't gone to the origins of Zenith Malawo. And we know that that name is not originally from where you're based. I haven't said where you're based, by the way. So let's
Okay.
go to where you were born and where you are, where you originated from. So let's start at the very origins. So where was Zenith born in?
Okay, so I was born in Luansha back in 1981 at Luansha Mine Hospital. Luansha is a mining town on the Copperbelt in Zambia, which, like you mentioned, is located in the southern part of Africa.
Luansha. That's the first on this podcast. Luansha. Now I don't think I heard Luansha before. Luanda. No, yeah, Wait, why am I blanking? Is this cold weather? This snowstorm really messed up my brain because everything I've it's just like took everything I've been remembering and to put it in one side. So slowly I've been collecting it back. But wait, let me see. Zambia's capital is it's not Luanda, right?
No, you're in Angola. You're all
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
way
was in
on the
Angola.
side.
Yeah, that's across the border. Wait, why am I messing that up? I should remember
It does start
Lusaka.
with an L, though.
Yeah,
That is.
Lusaka. Yeah, yeah. See, I used to say all and I used to pass all that test in Nigeria. They used to test us with the capital of all the African countries. Yeah, but when I had to take the test, Eritrea I hadn't gained independence. And South
Okay,
Sudan.
okay,
So yeah,
okay.
but I should be able to pass on those two. But though I can't remember Eritrea and South, I know South Sudan. I don't know Eritrea. But
Okay.
right now I can't remember. But I'm still good. I'm still good. I still got it.
You're
I knew
still
I had
good.
it. I knew it was an L. So how far is Lusaka from Lushisha, right?
Oh, Luansha. So oh my God. So
Luansha.
so when I was about 8 or 9 years old, we moved from Luansha to Chilawombwe, which was further out from Lusaka. So I can give you an approximation of how long it
Mhm.
is from Chilawombwe to Lusaka, because if I start saying how long it is from Luansha, like I was a kid, I really don't remember. So I want to say from Chilawombwe to Lusaka, depending on the roads and the traffic, you get some bad patches. it can take you somewhere between 6 and 8 hours to get to Lusaka.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Chilabongwe. Chililabongwe. See, I always love Zambian names. That's why you guys got the best nickname for your national team. Chipolo Polo.
Chipolo Polo, yes. Copper
Polo.
bullets.
Yeah.
And Chilabongwe literally means croaking frogs.
Wow, you see, Zambian names. Just
And at night you will hear the croaking frogs because it's a very wet mine. It's one of the wettest mines in the world. And there's a lot of frogs. So at night you actually hear them croaking.
So you were always around mines as a kid?
Yes. So the Copperbelt basically is where the copper was discovered, and a lot of copper deposits along the area, so which is why it's called the Copperbelt. And this is composed of about 7 mining towns, and maybe there are other smaller ones in between now that have come in. But so the main one was Luanshya, because I think Luanshya was one of the first places where copper was discovered. This was back in the early 90s. So it was Luanshya, Ndola. Well, Ndola was more of the headquarters of the Copperbelt, but the mining towns were like Luanshya.
That's why they have that big stadium.
Right. So it was like Luanshya, Ndola, Kitwe, Mufulira, Kalulushi, Chingola, and Chilawombwe. All these are mining towns. So this is where the minerals were. So towns were mapped out in these areas where people were working. And so, yes, I grew up around the mining towns. And my dad was a mining engineer, actually. It's the reason my parents migrated. So my parents are originally from the southern province. So my parents are Tonga by tribe, moved to the Copperbelt because that was where people were looking to for economics, right? To better themselves economically. And because the mines had been booming and jobs were being offered. And post-independence, the mines could even send you to school, which is how my dad went to university through the programs that the mines were developing for the local people. And so that's how they found themselves on the Copperbelt, and that's why I was born there.
Wow. So you're a child of the copper, or we'll call you a child of
right. Yes. So you know the name Copper Bullets for our team?
Yeah.
When you're from the Copperbelt, people say Wakopala. So I am a Kopala.
Kopala. Wow. You gotta put down the t-shirt. Maybe I'll get one t-shirt too. What Kopala?
Kopala. I am a Kopala. I'm from the Copperbelt.
Zambian game today. Yeah, okay. You see, I know the first time I had Chipolo Polo. That was 93 into 94.
Okay.
Like, man, yeah, that just stayed in my brain forever. I was imprint, pow.
Right.
Like, yep. If it wasn't Nigeria, Zambia faced in the final of 94.
We'll never forget Diramba.
Yeah, I was just like, man, this nickname was too cool. This nickname was way too cool.
Right.
Like, yeah, I love this nickname, you know.
I know. It's a cool name.
So your tribe is Tonga. Like is this like Tonga?
Yes, Tonga.
Oh.
Is my native.
How do you say hello?
Mwadibiya.
Hey, that one passed me. I thought it was something. That was. I think I'll stick to Chipolo Polo. If I was in the studio, Josh would have been laughing at me right now. He would have been like, "Oh man, oh that was a long." You would have a short hello. That was a long hello.
Well, I can speak other tribes too. Because I grew up on the Copperbelt, I'm very fluent in Bemba as well. So maybe that might be easier. In Bemba, you say Mulishani.
Mulishani. Okay, yeah, that's easy. Much easier. Okay,
Yeah.
So maybe I'm more Bemba then. So, wait, Tonga, is that more inland or is that coastal? The way, you guys are...
No, Zambia is a landlocked country, right? Yeah. So we're surrounded by like 8 different countries. So we don't have coastal areas, but it's more on the southern part of the country. As you're going towards Zimbabwe, that's where it is in the south.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you guys closer to... So much is that closer to like northern Zimbabwe or
Yes, that would be northern Zimbabwe.
okay? Wow.
Northern Zimbabwe, because we're right on top of Zimbabwe.
Wow.
You can walk. I think in Livingstone, well, because that's the border town, so literally you can walk.
Oh, so the Livingston, but that's the falls, right? The waterfall.
Oh yes, so where the falls is, the town is called Livingstone.
Mm-hmm.
The city is called Livingstone too.
Oh,
Right. So
wait, so but Livingston is in Zambia.
yes, Livingstone is in Zambia, and it's a border town. It borders with Zimbabwe.
The waterfalls too.
Actually, yes, we actually share the waterfalls. You can see it from Zimbabwe. It is in Zambia. You can see it from Zimbabwe, which is why we fight over it.
Oh my goodness.
But you know what? Coming to think of borders, now that you say this, I think there's a place which is called the 4 Points. When I took my son to Zambia back in 2023, before it had to be that you got on a pontoon to cross over from Botswana into Zambia. So there's a point at which Zambia, Botswana, and Namibia, there was a point in which they met and you took a pontoon and went across into Zambia. But now they've built a bridge, and it's like a 4-section bridge. So it's like Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia. So you have like a 4-point location.
Oh wow.
For those 4 countries. So we crossed over from Livingstone into Botswana, but we could see the road that would take you to Zimbabwe. And then we were on the river, and on the river, Chobe River, one side was Botswana and the other side was Namibia.
That sounds like a beautiful view right there.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Okay. So with that being said, what at this moment would you consider your favorite childhood memory to be?
Oh,
I mean, because you can't just give me all that beautiful stuff I'm putting in my head, and I'm like, well, we got to give you something tough too.
okay. I was a very sporty kid. And I think what I loved more than anything was being outside with friends playing a game called Stats. And I don't know why we called it that name. So it was a game where you had 2 teams. It didn't matter how many people you were, you just divided the people equally in 2 teams. So one team was on the outside. They were like, you had a couple people on one end and a few people on the other end. And then the other team was in the middle. And the goal was to try and hit the people in the middle with the ball. And we made ourselves a ball. The ball was made out of like sacks and plastic. I mean, this was like a very strong ball. And we called it that. I used to love that game because I would jump. Every time you jumped, you got like 5 points. If you caught it, you got 10 points. Things like that. But the idea is to hit you with the ball without you jumping over it and catching over it. Oh, I could play that all day. All day.
I'm thinking if we had something. Well, it sounds like dodgeball in a way.
It sounds like Dodge, yes. It's similar to Dodge.
Huh. I don't think I ever played something like that as a kid.
It was fun.
A version like that.
Yeah, and we made it creative. So sometimes what we used to do, you could have buckets of water and empty bottles. And the idea is that while somebody's throwing, you have to fill up maybe like 10 bottles of water while dodging the ball. It was fun. It was a kind of thing like your mother is coming to pull you, like it's dinner time. Like, can we go home?
That's so. Did you do this trick that? I remember doing this once or twice. Well, I would just say once or twice for the record. Where it was the moment I saw my person coming from the house, because I was always the youngest in my house. And when I made eye contact, and it's like, oh, I was just about to head home. I was just leaving for the house right now. I was just heading home right now. Like, didn't you see it was already dark? Didn't you see the night time? Yeah. But It's already 7 p.m. You were supposed to be home 6 o'clock. Oh, 6 o'clock. It's 7. I was just leaving. I said I was called the last goal. You say I was called the
There
last
you
goal,
go.
and then I will head home. When you say last goal I scored the last goal and I'll head home. And then that last goal becomes no, the last goal, and I'll head home. And then everybody starts fighting over. No. I scored the
Right.
last goal. No, I will score the last
And
goal.
it keeps going.
And then before you know, somebody grabs your ear. I said, didn't I tell you to come home at 6 o'clock? Oh, it's not 6 o'clock. I said I'll come at 6 o'clock. It's already 7. Oh, 7? Oh. No, I was just coming home right now. Right now. I was going to leave right. So why in the middle of the field? No, I was going to grab my shoe. I was about to grab my sandals, and you get a knock on the head. Come on, run to the house.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun. I mean, I was so drained by the end of the day. I mean, we did play many other games that I can't even begin to mention. It's just that one really stands out. But yeah, we played many other games, and it was just the whole idea of being outside until the late hours. So the holidays were always something to look forward to because you knew that, oh, now we're going to be playing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, staying with your origins. What are the meaning of your names, and is there a story behind how you came to have your name?
I think I've heard a couple of versions about my name, and I wish today is something I could ask my parents so that they could just tell me. And I did find my name circled in a book in my dad's library. My dad used to have a library in the house, and one of those, he was a big reader, and I found it circled. I was like, oh, okay. I wondered if it was just an aha moment for him when he was reading this book and he decided this was going to be the name. I don't know. But the version one of my uncles had told me was that my dad was sort of the last to get married, amongst his siblings. Everybody had been married. He was very studious, like very serious guy, the type thing. Even when he went to Unza, my uncle jokes, man, you'd go there trying to bother him and he'll give you money so quick because he wants to study. And so he had gotten up in his age, and they called it at the very highest point of hope. He married and he had me, and I was named Zenith because Zenith means the highest point.
Yeah.
So that was one version.
You know our people, They're gonna roast you. They will roast you all the way.
I was like, yeah, really? So I don't know. I really wish that's a question I'd ask my dad today, but he was a big reader. And like I said, I found it circled in the book. Maybe he just got fascinated with the meaning. It means the apex, the highest point. And, he was like, okay, this is it. And Malawo, I don't know. And I'm Zenith Hamamba Mwanga Malawo. And Mwanga means like to tie, tied. Hamamba, I tried to ask my uncle what it means, but he couldn't give me like a clear explanation. So I don't know what Hamamba and Malawo mean. So, but that's something I plan to explore the next time I go home.
Okay. Wow. So there's a possibility that, because I've met people whose names all have meanings. They go in tandem. So if you take them separately, it doesn't make sense what it means.
Right.
But together, combined, and it may make sense.
Right.
So, all right. So yours might fall into that category. All right.
Yeah.
So it could also be a Tonga way of naming.
It's possible because I know there are a lot of Tonga names. I know that when I hear the name and I know what it means. But for some reason, those I don't, because we have very specific names for specific situations. So if I hear a name like Jilala, Jimuga, I know what they mean. Mutinta, I know what those names mean. I know exactly what they mean. Or, unless maybe they were named after somebody, usually they are named, for example, Mainza means rainy season. So somebody who was born in the rainy season would be named Mainza. for example.
Okay.
Somebody who stayed more than 9 months will be called Jimuga or Lojilala.
Ah.
Yeah.
You know
And
what?
if you
Now you
if
get
you
it.
if you follow two sexes, let's say it's two boys and then a girl, you'd be called Mutinta, and vice versa.
Oh.
Yes. If let's say maybe your mom lost a baby and then you were born, you'd be called Jello. So it's like that. It goes like that.
You see, with ours, it's there's a version of something like that in my. I don't know if it's my people. I've interacted with some with a version of naming like that, but I don't think I can remember at this moment if it's my people or one of the sub-ethnic groups amongst my people, or if you triggered something within me that I know I've interacted with. Either probably my region, it could be my people, but there's also the aspect of Christianity making a lot of us go with what we consider English names.
Right.
So that's where names like Miracle, when you meet somebody named Miracle, because it's like, oh, the mother has lost a couple of babies, miscarriages, and it's like Miracle. Now this child is called Miracle. That's why you got it. Like, yeah, but do you have a traditional name? Miracle is my name. What do you mean traditional name? Like, oh man, I get it, but the mom has to explain it. I say, oh, okay. Yeah, but I mean, what's your traditional name? Miracle. I said, I don't know if that's why it's popping up in my head right now. I think I have a cousin, but no, that's not what I was thinking. That's not what I wanted to come in my mind. But yeah, I can't control these things.
Yeah, like my son's name is Jipego. That he's one of his middle names, Jipego. That means gift from God.
Okay. Yeah, you know what's interesting? If I didn't know you, and I just heard that name I could have said Portuguese. I don't know. I could probably just say Portuguese. I don't know, because we were we also have huge Portuguese influence. So
okay. In Nigeria, huh?
Not all of us, but like my people specifically.
Okay, because you're what tribe? You told me before you.
I'm an Ijo.
Ijo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Portuguese first met us.
Okay.
We're coastal people, so
that's
why we converted to Catholicism, Christianity. But in Nigeria, we don't consider Catholicism and Christianity is two separate, like it's the way it is here in America. So it's the same thing. So, but if you
say that again,
we don't consider Catholicism and Christianity separate.
Okay, yeah, you consider like Catholic is under Christianity, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
in America, it's considered separate. So
really? I didn't realize that. Yeah.
You never notice it that on forms is Catholic is marked separate from Christianity.
Oh,
that was one of my first culture shocks here in America. I was in the military and I noticed. I was like, why are you marking Catholic separate from Christian?
I never paid attention.
Yeah, it's
I'm going to
look. I was like, well, wow. What's the meaning of this? This confusing to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's confusing. What are we doing here?
So I always make that distinction. I try to explain, hey, we don't. It's the same thing to us, So
under the same umbrella.
Yeah, it's under the same umbrella. But I started with the Portuguese. But if thanks to pronunciations, names like George, we should have been. There are certain things we should have been calling Jorge, but we can't say Jorge, so we just call it George. It's not too long ago I found out that that we're supposed to be calling it Jorge, thanks to the Portuguese.
Okay,
but. Yeah, I was like, hey, ain't none of us going to figure that out. That's something we can't figure out.
I know.
Recently, I found out that, it was called Portuguese. Because I used to always wonder, why do we have this stuff and we call it George? So I was like,
Huh.
well, we never met. The English didn't come here. It was Portuguese. So how do we have George? And then
Mm.
it started making sense. When that explanation was given to me that it's Jorge, but who gonna be pronouncing Jorge? Like I have a good friend who it's another cousin of mine, but we were good friends who became cousins. Those friend cousins that you have. So his name is
Wow.
everybody called him Joe. He's in my region, but we became good
Mm-hmm.
friends, and from friends we became cousins. So it was one day we had to fill out a form. We're in the same place, and we had
Mm-hmm.
to fill out a form, and then I saw his name, and I was like, "Yes, you spell your name as Jose?" He said, "Yeah, that's my name." I said, "That's your real name?" He said, "Yeah."
Wow.
But everybody call you Joe. He said, "Bro, who gonna be in our area? Who's gonna be saying Jose?" I said, "It's because you and I know football. That's why you can say Jose." I said, "Oh, that's true. Yeah." His dad named
Mm-hmm.
him Jose because of there's a long story of his dad not having a Portuguese
Wow.
friend. But who in school who was going to be hey, Jose? Man, what is his name to call you? Joe. Okay, Joe. Is that Joe? So the guy grew up being called Joe at home. Everybody knew him as Jose. Outside
Jose.
of his house, Joe. So the
Joe.
whole neighborhood, Joe. And then
Oh, wow.
when you see his real name, it's spelled Jose.
Oh, wow.
So when you come to my region, you're gonna see names like that, but you see Da Silva, but the one is that we can say Da Silva. But when you
Okay.
but you find Portuguese influences, yeah, but who gonna pronounce that? We can't.
Wow. Yeah.
So
I
we
mean,
got
people can learn, but I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, we got our own version of like the one you pronounced. That was like, yeah, I'm not gonna try that. Yeah, like my other sister's name, Perkibina. I don't know if you want to try
Okay.
that. Yeah,
For
uh,
keeping. I mean, even
see,
us, we
that's easy
have.
for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have my name is Oin Dainfa.
Oi,
Easy.
Denfa. Okay.
Then we have the Tuba Dainfa. We have uh, there's names that are more. There's the upper grade levels, and then there's mid. Mine is mid level. It's easy, just as
Okay.
it sounds. And then there's some
But you
that I'm
know
like,
what? Even my grandfather, my mom's dad,
mhm.
his name was Jelly. But now sometimes I sit and say, I wonder if he wasn't Jerry. And then he became Jelly. You know, I swear to God, I think his name was Jerry. I think his name was
uh,
Jerry. And he became Jelly. Jelly Jonga. I'm like, his name was Jerry. I'm sure
well,
of it.
it's like well, my last name is officially Ari.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Ari. Ari.
oh, Harry. Okay,
Ari.
then now it's Harry.
Yeah, that's how you say it, Ari. Because
Okay.
when there's Harry, but the Harrys are in, from my same ethnic, my same tribe. But the
Okay.
Harry clan is next state, big giant.
Okay.
So if you meet an Ijo in America and you say, a Harry, they're going to be telling you, oh, those guys from River State, not Bayelsa, where I'm from. That's where they'll be
Mm-hmm.
directing you to. But if you say, no, he's from Bayelsa, they're going to be like, huh? What Harry is
Right.
from? They don't know who Harry is. But then the story goes back to the guy who, I don't know, I think it was my great grandfather who
Mm-hmm.
was in school and somebody couldn't pronounce this. Somebody kept saying, what's your name again? Ari? Harry. And then
Mm-hmm.
Harry started changing to Harry.
There you
Eh,
go.
it stuck. So I have uncles who go by Ari and Harry. So yeah, by the time I arrived, the division had been. It's like Game of Thrones. There's two factions. So I was like, yeah, but there are some who are like, man, what change it? I'm like, change what? You guys waited for me to be an adult to tell me that. Yeah, I could have been 3 letters instead of 5.
I know. Too
Yeah,
late.
you should have done that when I was a kid. Not when I'm an adult now. It has stuck with me. So no, so it's always funny to me when I meet the Ari. I'm like, well, war no
I
end,
know.
as we say. So So
Yeah.
you're a big lover of sports.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember to be your very first sports memory?
Oh, I don't know why this is what comes to me. Running on the field, like doing 100 meters training. And I remember her name to my right, her name was Progi. I don't know why I remember her. We were classmates.
Mm.
But that's what I remember, like race day, what we called sports day. And we had inter-house competitions.
Oh,
We had
inter-house
red,
sports.
blue, green, and yellow. Yes.
You didn't have purple?
No. In fact, both primary, secondary school, and both my primary schools, we had the same colors, red, green, blue, and yellow.
Red,
Those were
green,
our
blue,
colors.
yellow. I think we had 5. Red, green,
Oh, yeah?
blue, yellow. I think we had purple.
No, ours was just those 4. So that's what I remember. But there are other key moments that do stand out to me. When I was in grade 4, I was already on reserve for the netball team. And usually that happened when you're in grade maybe 5 or 6. But in 4th grade already, because I was very athletic as a kid. So I was on reserve for both the swimming team and the netball team, where the older kids were the ones in the main team. So obviously once I got to those grades, I was like the lead in those teams.
Yeah.
But it takes me back to Luanshya. Like I said, Luanshya was a mining town, and the mines, Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines at the time, did a very good job at giving structure to the town. So they had great structures with the schools, sports facilities. There is nothing we did not have. You had sports competitions both at school and out of school. So you could take part in what we called ZCCM competitions or just with the trust schools, because every mining town had a trust school. So we used to compete with the other trust schools, like would have friendlies, and then would even have finals. And the way the school curriculum was structured was in such a way that everything was built into the system. It wasn't anything like the way it is here, like you have to sign up for soccer, you have to sign up for this. We had classes from morning until lunchtime, and then afternoon is what we called afternoon activities. And this is when you did all the artsy stuff and the sports. And they were divided in such a way that every kid took part in every sport. So term 1, for example, was netball and football. And then term 2 was track and field and table tennis. Term 3 was swimming and volleyball. So I took part in all of that.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah.
So do they still do that?
So I don't know what it's like today, because I was just thinking about it the other day when I was recording my season finale. I was like, I wonder if it's like that today, because, the mines got privatized. Then you had different companies buy the different towns out. So it's not like it used to be, where it was like one umbrella company for the whole Copperbelt. So I don't think it's what it used to be, because even the ZCCM games that they used to sponsor died once the mines got privatized, because that was an opportunity for the people who were not going to the trust school per se to still take part in a sport. So you might have been going to a local government school, but you took part in a sport. And something I remember now, this was like maybe a negative experience. So my dad used to have this wooden racket in the house. It was an old Slazenger racket. And I remember the tennis people came to recruit us. I was 4th grade. I was about 10 years old. And I was like, oh, I want to play tennis. But my dad was like, I'm not buying you a new racket. I was like, no, but the people want, coming with smaller rackets. He was like, you can just take the wooden. My dad was like, tough guy. Like, you can make it regardless of what you have. So I walked to the tennis courts with my Slazenger racket, big wooden racket. I can't imagine how small I looked now when I think about it. But let me tell you, the kids laughed at me. When I got there, the racket was so big and heavy. The kids laughed at me, and I never went back to the tennis court. And I say all this to say, because I loved tennis so much. I tried to pick it up in 11th grade, but I was already older by then. Like I just couldn't. But it's a game, when I watch it, I almost feel myself running in it, like I'm in it. But yeah, so the sports program were great. I feel like every kid took part, and it was, in the end, I think when you went to those schools, you were a well-rounded student.
Yeah, I like hearing about programs like this because I didn't have I wasn't exposed to a program like that during my time in Nigeria. However, we still had by the time I finished secondary school, we still had Governor's Cup. It was beginning to die off. I think it was towards the end. After my graduation, 99, I think that was, yeah, I don't think Governor's Cup lasted. Probably into early 2000s. That was the end. And, but it's one thing I like reminding people that, when people always try to act like, we need to bring brand new solutions all the time. Yes, there's stuff we need brand new solutions for. However, a lot of stuff we've done it's just to bring stuff that we've already done in the past and just do a better job of managing,
Right.
in the implementation. Because the examples you gave of the copper companies before they got privatized, it reminds me of I'm not a big fan of this person, but I get why people love him. But before Dangote came to our place, the team that technically was my team, Eagle Cement, they were like the biggest cement company, and it's not Dangote that is responsible for the failure of the company. I'm not putting the blame on him. However, he represents monopoly. That is what I'm against. It's kind of like Bezos, Zuckerberg, and all that. So that's the point I'm trying to make here. Eagle Cement, I still remember they were one of the big clubs in Port Harcourt. They had their own football team. And then they had their cement company. And my aunt, who didn't have, she didn't go to university, but she was able to rise up to managerial levels, had her own official car, but she didn't even know how to drive. So by the time I had finished secondary school, I would go drive the car because I'd figure out how to drive and I would drive her around. But it's the fact that she was able to have a union job, rise up and earn a decent living wage through that company, you could see that they were taking care of their people. Now, were the other people embezzling funds? Yes, and messed up stuff, but there was stuff that could have been done to save that company. And it just seemed that the solution was sell it to the monopolist, and then it destroyed everything. All that to say, that shouldn't lead to Governor's Cup being destroyed, because we had this Governor's Cup where each state had a program in place where all the counties within the state, the schools played each other, private, public, and yeah, we're obsessed with football. This was back before academies started popping up. So how did Kanu, who led to Nigerians being obsessed with Premier League, come out? He didn't come out from an academy. It was playing in a tournament like that. Then he gets picked for under 17. But that's how schools were playing each other. If you have something like this, you have games, you have sports teachers, but you can do that for every sport. You can employ people, it's something that you add to your economy. But it's like we only think of it from, the football is, we won gold at 96, so only football gets everything. Oh, we won gold at in boxing, so only boxing gets it. So it's like, why only one size fits all solution? And that's where people always can't seem to get it with me. Like, no, you can have well-rounded
Right.
programs. I have Egyptian TV on, and I'm seeing how they have all the sports available in their country. I'm like, why can't you do it? Why can't you just make it available and let your people pick, and you get the best solution? And you see in the Olympics, Moroccans winning different sports in the Olympics. That's how you get the talent. And you don't just say, academy, pick only one footballer, and then you end up with a Nigerian team where there's no central midfielder, and then you have to go look who's born in England. Who want to play for Nigeria? And then it's like, why? So the solution, you've had it in the past. And then you're like, well, we don't need this anymore. We'll run away. Go find something brand new. I'm like, there's this saying that what you're looking for in Sokoto is in your Shokoto. What you're looking for far away, it's right in front of you. So that's why I always love hearing from other people that it's always worked. It's always been there, and then we go act like, oh no, go pay some consultant, and then you charge them 5 million. They charge you 5 million. Like, oh, yeah, and they tell you the exact same thing. Oh yeah, I prefer that. And then Ralph told you for free, and then you're like, nah, we're not going to do that. So,
Yeah. So those structures were really in place. A lot of things died with the dissolution of ZCCM because they also had something you might not think as important. They had, like my mom, for example, who went as far as 10th grade. But when she moved to the Copperbelt, they used to train women like her. So you trained, you know, how, like, what do you call it? Kindergarten, how to teach kids, kindergarten, knit, cooking, and all like the domestic kind of stuff. And they called it community development. They called them community development officers. So my mom was like a community development officer. So then once they got to a certain stage, they would then train other women in the community on those similar skills like that. So, but because it's all these little things, right? So kids are playing sports, kids are in the afternoon being part of something, you're having swimming galas, competitions.
Yeah.
People are becoming professional. And now there's a gap. Those things are not there. So what are people expected to do? But what do you think the young people are going to do? So then you have a lot of youth crying. There's nothing to do. There are no jobs. And that's what happens.
We have gambling apps now. So you can go gamble.
See, and then
you're gonna become rich. You're gonna become rich. You can become rich right now. Make it. You make it. I'm like, golly, every other country I check, I'm like, gambling app. I'm like, what? Oh my goodness, man. But we're gonna start wrapping up because we're gonna do a part 2 and part 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So
we have to talk about my creative journey, how I actually landed to the podcasting. Because what I wanted to do was YouTube, but let's wrap up because
we can't give everybody everything today. But before we get to the final question, what are I have 2 questions I'm going to ask. So let's see. Okay, yes. So let's say I arrive in I'm going to mess up the town again. Lumimashi?
Luansha?
No, yeah, okay. Well, now, I'm going to Tonga territory. Then make it easy. Okay. Livingston. I'm going to Livingston. Yes.
Oh, yes. Say Monza is much more Tonga than Livingston. I think Livingston is a little bit kind of Lozi, but
Lonzi.
Lozi is another tribe.
Okay.
Tribe / language / ethnic group. Yeah.
So which one is the Tonga town then?
Well, it can be Monze, Choma, Mazabuka.
Choma. Well, I used to have a crush on Choma. So Choma, I can remember Choma then.
Okay.
Right, so Choma. So let's say I go to Choma. What are 3 snacks that you recommend I have first timer in Choma?
Snacks. And does this, can you call a drink a snack?
Well, I leave everything to you. I'm in your hands. So if I take a drink and I wake up in Namibia tomorrow, I'll hold you responsible. So everybody listening, you know who to go after. Because if you see me on Instagram or YouTube with a video like, I don't know where I am, I took this drink. Okay.
No, because I feel like in Zambia, the snacks have become the same everywhere. So I feel like there's what we call snacks are not very region specific is what I want to say. Okay. So I might take a snack, but it's a snack you can find anywhere.
Well, this was your opportunity to have claimed the snack. That's well, that's. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm just saying if it were
Okay. No, you know what?
somebody
Let me
named
say. Okay,
Raphael,
I'll
I would
give you
have
the
just
snack.
claimed it.
Okay, Lusala.
Lusala. Yeah. Why you got the names? That's everything. Now I'm just my name. I'm thinking Lusala. Okay, I can remember that one.
Lusala.
Mm-hmm.
It's a snack, but you can also eat it like as a relish with meal, but you can just fry it and eat it as a snack.
So is that how's it?
It's a root.
Spicy or it's a root?
No, it's a root. Ooh, I don't know what I can equate it to, but it's like a root, and you can just saute it,
Okay.
with salt, but you can also do the whole tomato, onion, and eat it with fufu as well.
Hey, it's serious. We're getting into serious territory. All right, what's the next one?
Okay, Lusala. And then I will say, well, since you're in Choma, not far from Mazabuka, let's say, well, sugarcane.
Sugarcane? Oh, that's like cheating, but I'll take it. Sugarcane. My teeth. It's been long since I bit into sugarcane. I don't know if my teeth can still handle that. They'll have to cut it for me. I'm just saying my teeth. I've been spoiled now. I'm a pampered baby now. Once I crossed 40, I became an easy life now. I need sugar mommy now. I can't do that hard life.
You can't do that, huh?
Nah, I can't do that anymore. Because back in the days, I would just bite it myself. Ow. No. I need to do chewing stick for 6 months straight before I go and bite sugar cane.
Okay, now this one is a drink. Okay.
Oh, okay.
But very specific. Territory. Well, yeah, specific to the Tonga people. Jibuantu.
Now I feel like I speed the way he was shouting. I said, this boy, okay?
Yeah.
Jibuantu. So if I drink this drink, I'll still stay in Choma. I will wake up in Choma, not the one I'm going to wake up.
You'll be fit, strong and fit.
Oh, it's the one I drink now. I'll go and say, elephants, come. Let me go and wrestle elephants.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe all right. If somebody is listening in Zambia, send me 2 bottles so that I have some people I need to go and fight in my village. So send me 2 bottles, please. You become my best friend. Yes. Wait, say the drink name again so that I remember.
Jibuantu.
Hey. The name is so strong. I already feel strong just saying the name 3 times. I feel strong. I don't need to lift weights today again anymore. I don't think I need to lift weights for the rest of the week. I'm good.
No.
You should have told me about this drink long time ago. I don't need to go to the gym anymore. I'm good. I don't need the gym. Jibuantu. Yes, this is it. This is it. All right. So, next question. I don't think I've heard Tonga music before. So give me 3 artists that can keep me dancing from Tonga. Tonga music to keep me going,
You got me on that one. You really did. And it's so funny. We were just listening to Zambian music sometime last week. I can tell you a song. I can't even tell you who sang it. And the Zambians are going to kill me for this. I have lost touch with Zambian music completely.
Oh,
but listen.
We need to go and kill 3 chickens.
I know. They're going to
sacrifice.
There's a song and it's called Mapopwe. Mapopwe means corn, maize, and because we, as Tongas, we're known to be great farmers. And so every rainy season we grow corn. I mean, everybody does it across the country. It's just that's our.
No. This is your time, so you are claiming it. It's you guys are number one now.
Farming, yes.
I like Tonga.
Like cattle ranching and growing corn. So yeah, there's a song. It's called Mapopwe. I don't think the guy who sang it is Tonga per se. But we'll
claim him right now. We'll claim him.
Yes. And there was another song because I was laughing when I was listening to it. I was like, oh, it's a Tonga song. And I can't recall it, but I'll send it to you.
Okay. So since you couldn't give me the names of the artists, we'll save you with this. You have to answer 0.5 question. We'll sneak a 0.5 in there. So since you mentioned cattle, if I were to go to Tonga right now, and some lovely person came up to me and said, I like you, and I said, okay, me too, I like you too. Let's just pretend like I'm single. I'm available, and I said, okay, so let me make you my missus. So would they say, Oga, you have to, you
Yes.
can't just go
bring
with
5
you.
cows. Yes.
You have to bring cows. Oh, I'll be like, okay, I'm coming right back. Let me just go to the airport and bring the cows at the airport. I'll be right back. Yeah, it's those cows with big horn.
Bring your
biggest
100
horn.
cows. The big ones.
Okay. Yeah, they should have told. You should have told me before. I don't think we would have even recorded this episode. You could have told me. I didn't know. I would have chosen another tribe. No. It's a different. I don't know. It's this. This changes the whole. Okay, Tonga. No, keep the music. We are good. Keep the music, Tonga people. Just give me the drink. I'll still take the drink. But
You still take this one.
I love my people. I love us.
And let me tell you, the thing about the cows, that's actually like my mom's legacy. So my mom died when I was about 12 years old. And what I didn't know is that she'd left some cows. But as I've gotten older, my aunties and uncles have been taking care of them. And they tell us, oh, yeah, your mom, you left you some cows. And, we just check up on them. And over the years.
So you have cow all this time? You didn't tell me. Hey, you know what? This change. Okay, Zenith is single. You know what? I can do 2 wives too. By the way, if you want, you can do that too. I understand animal husbandry. I got an A in animal husbandry. I know how to take care of cows. I don't eat cow meat a lot, but I know how to take care of
But you not take care of them.
Oh man, we definitely have cow. We're gonna talk cows a lot in the second episode.
Okay. Not a problem.
All right. So, final question: what would you like to leave the audience with? It could be, anything from maybe cows, wisdom, or from something from your favorite Tonga music, or I don't know, but if it's, I don't know, we could do cow poetry. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, what I will say is that there's a lot more to share, and please come back for part 2 and part 3, and listen to my podcast, Assorted Immigrant Stories. Even though I am going on a break, I will still maintain a social media presence, but you can binge the old episodes. I just finished a 10-episode mini-series full of lessons. Like Raphael said, we already made the mistakes. You don't need to do the same thing. You can avoid some of those mistakes. And it's just as simple as registering for something, saving you money, going to community college versus university if you don't have the money, decisions like that. So yeah, listen and take 2 cents from there and see what your life can pan out. And obviously for people back home, you know what? One of the things I told myself is I will start intentionally listening to Zambian music, because my son is now like asking me so many questions, Mommy, how do you say this? What's the music? Put this song on. So we're getting back into that path.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yes, please let the people know where they can find your podcast and how to get in touch with you.
I'm a bit sad that I've been having trouble with AfriPods and Jollof Radio Media, because those are the first 2 platforms I would have loved to mention, especially being that tomorrow is Africa Podcasting Day. But for some reason, my RSS feed is not working there. So you can find my podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts from.
All right. And, by the time this episode comes out, it will be after the Africa Podcast Day. But shout out to all our African podcast creatives. And, be you at home or in diaspora, we recognize you and we love you all. And shout out to all of you doing good work and putting out good content. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Acknowledge you all. Yes.
Absolutely. You know, we celebrate you. We're listening to you. You're in our rotation. And I just wanted to point out one thing. You can follow me on Instagram at Assorted Immigrant Stories Pod. On TikTok, it's Assorted Immigrant Stories Podcast, same as YouTube. Facebook is AIS Podcast. I know my names are all over the place. The plan is to one day just have one name and integrate everything, because I know saying 4 names is confusing for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's fine. Just it'll be in the show notes, and it'll be easy for you to find it.
There you go.
So once again, thank you. How do we say thank you in Tonga?
Twalumba.
Kwalumba.
Twa with a T.
Twalumba.
Twalumba.
See, that's easy. Why is the rest not easy like that? Twalumba. See, that one I can say. Easy.
Twalumba, and then in Bemba it would be Twatasha.
Oh no, now Bemba switched it.
Okay, sticking to Twalumba.
Everybody. No, wow, this is. Yeah, don't make life easy for me. Twalumba, my sister.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Twalumba, everybody.
Twalumba.
Thank you for the privilege of your company.